Adeshima my mama nyina ajo kase boy yes aka ne nedwo ada nwumre na yede ebremo yede free shape house Abeka Junction Accra ena yede ebrewo kase boy nwumre yede ebrewo no die edimu akotene ene se enche ye na mampanyi ebobo Supreme Court atemuafo din nyame adom wo mo akoverting wo muguso a wo mo ye beko sabre ye ide Justice Dennis Dominic Ejay wo no ene ti adwamu a wo toto na no
Saso na ban eye enhyehyeye se eye no fee policy no wo behwe ama wo mo asebi wo mu nibi na wo konto aso sukuu no de dikan wotimi atua de ama wo afi nsusu bantu aso sukuu no nsusu a wo hwe so obetimi abie mu na wo bia so etimi akobi
na wotwi awie ye nka bi nhemu a enkohwa Iran ni Israel na de ntokwa abosu enam so ama aseye a ehwa amono ne nsem so kyese sabre ye die embassy a ewo Iran man no watom wo mo ye adwuma wo ho no so wo mo agyaye adwuma ye na emu nkyiremu no ye de bebrem
Saso and Minister of Works and Housing sabre wa pawo eye abajoku omo eye board no mo ba behwe sa asuyeye no de ato omo nim se kwaye befa so enye sika ebegina ho no mabo eye asuyeye no ho bra enkanka eba na affordable house na eno wo kache board ni so mo mani enko
Justice Jamefe what they are to ja say atemuafo ene won mo ye adwuma ewo court afeyi emranimfo ene ne ekeka ho mo ye aban de no ese fatase ebe so mu nkran nyoma ne akade a eye abefo de obetum de aye adwuma no mo hia na timi ama wo adwuma mo ye no etimi akonanim
Ubepie mo Rich Hospital wo Greater Accra regional anese for any midwives so sabre wo ma hye wo mudwuma ase wo mo edu wo mudwuma no na wo mo kogye ayarehye enso so ache wo mani so na afi wo de ato aban anim se wonye hyehye no betena ho afebo ama eya nurse for midwives for yi se de be ya wo mo nsan enko strike bio
ensempi ka ho ne de bremo kaseboyi emu enyuma ko bi adaroma
aseda kese nkoma best point savings and loans and best assurance for usika sam no insurance nyina akodan wo mo this way chocolate drink obia pe empemfo ne mo frɛ nyina eme bi mpa wo feed you to data salt eye nchene pa me oba penti nchena metimi akamfo e de ama wono no saso na special ice me no water eye abojunso papa
me di e de akosi asapo me ne
abina chei boache
Yera kasebo no emu ana mampanyi John Dramani Mahama ne amemwo anana ban ede ababetu edwa se ade a eda nani so den se obeye de obetimi bia ama ene Ghana adehia wonom ewo emia hodo bi no wo mo asetena mu atimi akọ enkan na ansa na yebekọ saa ensam ni mu no yenkọ emrahye bedwam yenimsa vetting ekoso ewo Supreme Court atemuafo ayabo wonum edin no yenko ne yenko hwe sede ensem no si cross abre ya ye kasa de otemuani ba ko eti adwam a wono na wo kasa sabre Justice Dominic Ejay wono na eti adwam a ye toto na no na yenko tie kakramra.
The person is wrong. The person must know why that person is being deported. That is the first thing. Then the second thing that I would like to say is that the power to prosecute is with the Attorney General. So if the Interior Minister is saying that I am deporting them, Attorney General, I will not allow you, then the Attorney General may say that for me, an offense has been committed. I think that there is a case for the person to answer. I'm going to prosecute. That is what can be done. Apart from this, I don't think I can profile any opinion. Thank you.
My Lord, let me take your view on Article 66 of the Constitution. My Lord, in your considered view, what is your take on Article 66?
Personal understanding is that there is no ambiguity, and therefore no president can go for more than two terms or 4 years. To me, I don't see any ambiguity. either from literalist point of view or from the purposive point of view. I don't see any ambiguity.
So this argument that if it's not consecutive, it means that there has to be an interpretation to it, you think nothing triggers any interpretation?
But to me, no, it doesn't generate any interpretation because there is no ambiguity on the face of it.
Please, have you heard Professor Kwesi Prempeh, the chair of the Constitutional Review Body? Have you heard his view on Article 66 recently?
No, please.
You've not heard his view?
No, please.
Okay.
Maybe I wasn't in Ghana and I haven't read it.
Very well. Very well. Anyway, he expressed a view not different from yours. He said the 2 terms is 2 terms, and it cannot be consecutive or otherwise. 2 terms is 2 terms. So I think he agrees with you. I mean, you and him have the same view. Thank you. Now, let me deal with issue of due process requirements. Where we have deportation powers and you have Article 19. Would you hold a view that in the absence of due process, where the underlying conduct constitutes a criminal offense, one cannot sidestep this and move away to directly deport a person?
Honorable Minority Leader, please try and one up before 6:30 in view of the fact that we agreed to take another nominee.
Chairman, with respect, I am asking my questions. If at any point you want to stop me with the exercise of your powers as chairman, you can, and I will not protest. So I will ask my questions. I'm not done. But if you think you are the chair, you have the powers, let history record it, and we would comply with it. So let me finish my questions.
Well, with all due respect, you have 6 more minutes. You have 6 more minutes.
Chairman, no problem.
At exactly 6:30, I will plead with you to
Chairman, I am asking my questions. If you get to where you want to stop me, you can stop me, and I will not challenge you. Honorable nominee, given the absence of comprehensive legislation, courts have relied on equitable principles to address cohabitation disputes. What is the appropriate scope of judicial equity in family law cases involving cohabitation?
Honorable, cohabitation in respect of property acquisition, it is treated as people who have acquired properties, but not within the context of marriage. You can acquire property with a friend. You can acquire property with a girlfriend. You can acquire property with anybody. When it comes to dispute, the question is who provided the money that was used to acquire the property. It will be based on evidence. To say that I have befriended you, we have cohabited, and therefore you have put up a house, and I'm entitled to this, will not fly, because the law is that even enemies can jointly acquire properties. And when there is a dispute, we must determine the contribution by each one of them. If it is determined and there is no contribution, you go home peacefully. Thank you, Honorable.
Honorable nominee, for the purposes of due process and certainty, would you propose that a law be enacted to regulate Article 146 of the Constitution?
Thank you. I think if you get either a statutory instrument or CI, it will help.
Now, upon your reading of the Constitution, would you say that there is any provision that prohibits same-sex marriage?
Honorable Chair, as at now, there's no matter that I'm involved or I'm writing on. So on the face of it, I cannot say that it is.
Yatoka se so aban ayen hyehyeye anaso de hye egu akwan mu se no fee policy no obehye se ebeye adwuma ma abofra bia wo se fata wo control so sukuu no obetimi enya kwan na anoye bi emma se oni sika enti na ontumi enko na aban ye ni so ade ho ne se obesan bie nto so sukuu num na ye ma na se mofra bia wotimi awie SHS no ebetimi enya kwan na wakosa sukuu no ensemi ebeto dwa wabra eye opanyini Paakojo Sam ono na ye deputy director of tertiary education okenkan ye ogina eye osofo hye ye adesua ensem so na nemu ekenkan ye wabra okopie mu Ghana Communications Technology University Business Students Association abra no mudi wo mu enna.
The ministry is rolling out policies and programs to expand access to tertiary education, promoting equity and ensuring quality and excellence in our universities and colleges. It is also the intention of the Ministry of Education to expand access to quality education and provide a level ground for all students to pursue programs of their choice in tertiary educational institutions. In this regard, the government of Ghana, through the Ministry of Education, is implementing the no fees policy to ensure that no qualified person is denied admission to tertiary educational institution for the reason of lack of funds. Under the no stress policy, the government will pay the first year academic fees for all persons who have gained admission to pursue programs in tertiary educational institutions. Pursuant to the implementation of this policy, the Students' Loan Trust Fund has opened a portal to enable prospective beneficiaries to input their data into the system. I am sure that Students' Loan Trust Fund will soon start the disbursement of funds for the benefit of students in our various tertiary institutions.
Me a make say confess kasam ho a bi kura nka me no dia madri etina ne dia me ne aban tribopo no adwene kese se masika sam enye hwintidua ma obia opese osua de ekonanim eni na wo ba ha empo no se classroom de na wo mohomode nam se ye de classroom de na toto anwuma mu de ne ntino ma won so se classroom no na wo mohomode kura no a utimi sua practicals no ma won so utimi de kwanimu ene ye adwuma de ya se na me ka bibi se wo hwe amama foforo so a wo behwe na obi aye fidie bi wo behwe na obi aye bibi a eboa wiase pa ya setena mu na sa nipa no professor kura wonye bi ya ha wo behwe na obi ye professor na professor na wo ye no ni nsunsu aso a ewo o man no so na ene de he enu ntina GCT Business School ye bo modern se ye ma edem adisua no ene adwuma mu abonten adisua no edin sawoso na ma no wie pe ye ma ye de enti meni aba na ya dwene
eboama students enya ahoto because say utimi osa cancer student stress below na ode adwendwe enda ma me so papa so no another from course say only scam CCA into fees and ultimate exam sir ultimate student loan no and student stress fee loan no then 8 years say be ya that channel onyama wa now that ode back I say the o bob be some be in China and pounds of better say we didn't see we be see one but we there I buy na say or them mount into buy them mount they said kind of kin pano I buy only nyambo because nipa 8 million nyambo into say utiminya student stress below na eye
Afe yenkowura ensemo a eno efa Iran ene Israel wo mo ntokwa wo mo afiti ase no Ghana de hye de won mo ba bia o Iran nso wonom akobo sesen ewo ho oman no nso so me kire Ghana man enso so ewo embassy wo ho a wonom eye adwuma se de be ya yenkita hodie ene ayonkofa eda ye ne Iran entem no betimi akọ eti abra ntokwa no ba asa no se ye kasei enam so maso ye a wo mhwa amano ne ensem so kire se mampanyi John Dramani Mahama ban wo hia papa so obebo Ghana de hye a wonom ewo ho eban eno nti gina ye a wasie nie ene se Ghana de hye a wonom wo Iran nyina no wo mo behwe se obeyi wo afiri ho se de be ye ntokwa a wo Israel ne Iran ntam no se eje nsemu a ebi enkoka ya de hye a wo mo so de wo ka so wo ko de ani ese wani na eno na enam so ama wo kire se embassy won madwanefo a wonum ewo Iran eye Tehran ho no ade a yatum ye mo nkwadwuma ebio wo mo ehwe se Ghana de hye a wo mo ye diplomats wo mo ye adwuma ewo ho asuafo wo mo mankasa ye wo mo adwuma bi ewo ho wo mo eko school ewo ho ana se obi a wo ye adwuma foforo bia ewo ho no wo mo boabo wo mo nyina no se de be ya enkofo how bi emma esanse se de Israel so boa wo mo ho no masa koyi ano no ebetumi de asem aba na yetena se ne ye nhwe han emma sei esia na ebe ha adwene enti embassy wonom operation eno so wo Tel Aviv no eno so no wo mo ateso wo mo nheda nya adwuma se de anka ne Israel manim no wo mo ye adwuma no nti akoye se we de ba we be yi ano eno ene ye pese ye hwe ne ye si ano kwan se ko ba se ginsemo a Ghana ni bia ho ankoka ewo ho enti sabrei ukọ Tel Aviv a wo mo ho ni nyina no ana wo ye Ghana de hye wo ye adwuma ewo embassy a wo si Ghana na mu wo ho no wo so ti wo adwuma so afa wo bedi nkita ho ewo consular department wo se de be ya wo be hu anamon a wo betu e de afiri ho sesi ayi de aban ne se wo bo Ghana de hye ho ban se de be ya yen hwiri wo bia enkwa ewo ho ana obi mpo ho nka ewo ho Ghana ban kire se sesi a wo be hia se ensem ode ato dwai ye nyina ye be som titiu ni adehye a wonom ewo ho na yahwe diplomats no wo mo anamo mbetu no de ye de beto susu dua so ebeboa yen no yetimi ahwe atu ho anamo
yeto akase no so a oswafo ho enwuma ene adan so ye Honorable Kenneth Gilbert Ejay ena sabre wode ato adwa se nipa enkono abejoku a wapa wo mo na ekwakoye board ama State Housing Company na wo mo as ye odi ato wo anim se wo mo nhye se de be ya sikasem ene enhyehye ye wo ho no ma ebetimi abo saa enwuma no ho bra no etimi akọ enimu wo se wo hye pokoase afieman housing project ene affordable housing wo asante mantemu a wosesa enema we se anasesa adan we se ya dan a ehu edi ye pananso ne bo no ewo fom o mo hye ni mu se empesue bia so ewo man Ghana mu hase ni ebetimi esibi ohonom na etimi aboa oreje edito eye nipa nko no bedweko yenim se wo mo ene ye State Housing Company Public Servant Housing Loan Scheme Board and Real Estate Agency Council Board ona wo mo enhye na san hyehye no wo mfo mo ni eni akire yi pa said ye be ya sa dan ebetimi esisi ewie.
State Housing Company's vision to build high quality homes in thriving communities where Ghanaians feel a true sense of belonging must now be pursued with renewed energy and strategic focus. Its mission to serve all income groups, particularly the underserved and unbanked, must guide every decision and every investment you make as a board. Already, State Housing has made commendable strides in revitalizing its operational presence across the country. Ongoing projects in Accra, Kumasi, Koforidua, Sefiri Oso, Tamale, Sunyani, and Ho reflect a commitment to regional equity in housing delivery. However, the scale of the challenge demands more. It requires a deeper embrace innovation, whether in construction technologies, partnership models, land development approaches, or financial structuring. These projects are not only central to our housing goals, but also have the potential to generate significant employment, support local industries, and deepen economic inclusion. I also urge the board to explore creative public-private partnerships, tap into long-term institutional capital, and leverage the growing interest in green and climate-resilient housing finance.
On behalf of the board, I wish to express our gratitude to the President of the Republic, His Excellency John Mahama, for the confidence reposed in us to steer the affairs of the State Housing Company Limited. The role of this institution has never been more critical. We stand at a time of significant housing challenges, high housing deficit, increasing population growth, and high cost of construction, all of which demand urgent and strategic action. Honorable Minister, the new board will head to a very transformative agenda for the institution, ensuring that our policies are aligned with the resetting agenda of the President. We pledge to reset and restore the institution, to restore its central role in Ghana's development.
Adeshima ma yenyi aboafo nkrato mra ye ba ye beto akase ebo no so. adeshima mai mama akwa abaye to akase bono eso Supreme Court atemuafo a womo ekoye kosi nkonwa ama yetoto wonmo no se de ye de kyerem se eguso a no ade a Supreme Court atemuani baako ono ne yede ni di kan ekyeye pa yetoto na no Justice Senyo Jamefe wono na wotena adwam edi kan a yedi kan toto na no ewo mpanimfo a womo esi nkonwa wo mrahye bedwam no na abra wo kasa no na wono so ekyirkyirmu asembisane ni nya no ni bi enekosi se sesia no abefo nioma ba yede etena se ewo atemuafie a yede di asem enu nti senka atemuafo ene won mo yi adwuma ewo court no nya nioma ne akade ebetimi aboa wo abefo de a nkete ebetimi aboa ama mo adwuma wo mo eye na contentem enkoba se ebia ensem bia ba beda ho efie mienu mfie miensa na oda so te ho abra ogusu edie wo mo hia nioma ne akade ebeboa wo mapia wo mo ama wo madi ensem ententem no ene ensem ahodo bi ene opanyi yiyi ano ekyirkyiri mu ewo committee nase.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Some few minutes ago I said we have to look at the tools we use. We have to go high technology now, AI. One of our main constraints is the recording process, writing longhand, and then the processes by themselves. A lot of people who don't know this always say cases delay unnecessarily. Yes, sometimes it does, but then the procedures we have to see to it that we shorten the procedures and the time limits. Then secondly, I talk about the tools. If we can go AI, said that recordings are done swiftly, so that by the end of the day, whatever everybody says in court is recorded by the machine, and at the end of the day, it's transcribed, and you can just sign. It makes it faster. And then number two, a lot of adjournments. That one depends on the courts. A lot of lawyers come, I'm sick, I'm that, sending letters and blah, blah. We have to curtail those things as well to make sure that cases go on. And then I said something earlier that there should be time limits. I think the rules of court should set time limits. That no criminal case should go beyond 3 months. No civil case should go beyond a certain period of time. Then we all know we are constrained to finish within that time. These are the things we have to do to be able to quicken cases, to fasten the delivery of justice. And then more courts. If we have more courts, then the workload is lessened. One court wouldn't have plenty cases if there are other courts around. So, Madam, these are some of the things we have to do to be able to deliver justice in good time. In good time. Thank you.
Yet work as no so wow a vetting committee honomo abrana justice eti edwamuma yetoto nanono Jamefe ewie ama Justice Dennis Dominic J enso akotene mu ono so de ne de akwawie na sesie de wobetene edwam ama yetoto nano Justice Simon Subire wono eneti edwam sesie modaroma yenkoni hwese de anototo ni siko.
This strong shield can be penetrated. Is there any occasion that you think that this ironclad shield can be penetrated?
Yes, my lord, you have the floor.
Honorable Chair, from the reading of the provision where a Superior Court judge has given a decision in the exercise of his judicial power, I don't think that the person can be subjected to any sanctions, because if you make a mistake, the other party has the right to appeal. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Any follow-up?
Thank you. So, my lord, your answer suggests a lower court. So maybe at the High Court or at the Court of Appeal you can appeal. But if you are at the Supreme Court, what remedies are available beyond review?
Honorable Chair, if you have given a decision at the Supreme Court and the person is not satisfied, the Supreme Court has the power to review its own decisions where you are able to establish that there are exceptional circumstances. So you can exercise that power if you think that you are not satisfied with the decision of the Supreme Court. Honorable Chair.
I'll proceed to give the floor to Honorable Ewuabafo.
Congratulations, my Lord.
Chair.
At the Supreme Court, you'll be doing interpretation. And so I want to take you through a little exercise. Let's look at Article 1284 of the 1992 Constitution, which talks about appointment. It reads as follows. A person shall not be qualified for appointment as a justice of the Supreme Court unless he is of high moral character and proven integrity and is of not less than 15 years standing as a lawyer. You will observe that competence is not a factor for appointment to the Supreme Court. Do you think it is an anomaly? And if so, why?
Honorable Chair, the fact that the provision does not contain the word competent doesn't mean that the competence of any person applying to become a justice of the Supreme Court should not be taken into account, because the person is going to be dealing with interpretation of the laws and so many other jurisdictions that are conferred by the Constitution, and the person must be knowledgeable in the law to be able to qualify as a person for the Supreme Court. Honorable Chair, that is my answer.
Any follow-up?
Yes, wakasi abono eswa na opanyina wono eneda Forestry Commission ano Dr. Hugh Brown na opanyini ochese abanye tu ne ho esi ho sede tie bia na obehwe ama yensase a asai galamsey womo payabo womo ebu nnua enwoma hodo ma ye wo yensase so ama no asai no ekwan bia so wombehwe se wombesan adane aniama asase no asan ba ne tibia mu bio.
Dr. Hugh Brown expressed Mampani John Dramani Mahama ne dwumadie kese pa wode aba enche kropa hontuma your friend say tree for life no wo ho se ebeya wo mu ebetimi adua enua foforo kra aboama omen ye kwaye ya ne nyina esa no ye benya bi asa nemu na mmea hodo akane na nka enua wa ene eya adane asase pradada no eno so ebetimi asesemu ama babi adane ahabamu no na namsa so amoman no enya eso emfaso bebre wade ne nsem eltu dwa no na ekuo aye from say Rainforest Builder Ghana wo mu aye nhyehyɛ ya wode eba bedua enua na enua na obedua no wo mu di kan aye intima de friend say Nesri ni bi bia wo ye sa intima no na opa ehontoma wo Basingele a no ye bronu bi a wo bibie ni wo Western North Mountain.
This year, together with the private sector, we are aiming to plant a total of 30 million seedlings across the country. This month we launched the amenity planting component of the Tree for Life, where we are targeting 2 million seedlings to be planted within our communities, along the roads, corridors, etc. But this is a much more elaborate program, and what we are seeing today is the private sector contribution, because out of that 30 million, we are expecting that close to about 40% of that will be contributed by the private sector. And this is evidence that it's not just talk. When government supports private sector and partners private sector, we are able to achieve a lot more. And so this is just to show, this is just one example, one very good example to show the world that Ghana is serious about reforestation, about restoring our degraded landscapes and ensuring that we fight climate change. The target is to do 10,000 hectares of modified tonja, to do 4,000 hectares of enrichment planting. We are also planting 2,000 direct hectares using the youth who have been engaged. And the private sector is expected to do 7,500. as you heard, this company, Rainforest Builders, is already going to do 2,000 this year. I think they've already started. They are about a third through. And there are other large-scale companies across the country who are all contributing towards this national goal.
General Manager Edema Rainforest Builder Ghana, Enva Mapanda, and so Edisei and Etuja.
So far, we are working in Anyaso South, Anyaso East, and Upper Wassa. Those are the 3 reserves which we are working on. And as I said, as at last year, we planted about 1,500 hectares. And then this year, we are actually going to plant 2,000 hectares, but mainly in Anyaso East. Because what we are picking is that a lot of people that get into the forest, they cut trees, they mill, they leave. And I think that's how we lost much of the rainforest, through illegal logging. Because we know if it's managed by the government, they actually manage, they select the type of trees which are supposed to be cut. But if people are just coming, doing their own things, they can cut any kind of tree, and that's how we end up with.
Yatwaka siya no so asabre tanker drivers omo tema oil depot na asabre omo de kokobo ama ban se womo kwan omo nam so enye ntisa ban ya mesiesia womo edo munwuma nyina ebeku fom womo se obepie mu e wo vehicle runabout pon kwan ne so a eyade kwan no asai kra womo yehia enye ntisa abre womo de abosumi mienu esi honom se aban enhwe na animu ye wonfa mesiesie kwan enye sa omo beko strike.
Ashankafo ne apamfo ahodo a womudi omunkui e wa honene atena ye no ne energy sector no ene womo e kire mu se nyame anim no kure ne empanifo womo nhwe na tema oil depot eye vehicle runabout e kokmun kwan so no e kwan atete apansam se ko ntebe obabo ne nkwan no womo hwe no omonyamfa ma omo na asa kwan no eye ahadwene yie pa da bia da chese tracks ahodo bebro be se 2500 ena chese sa ekwan no e de ohaw eba beja wono eso enti aya na emwa kra ensonso ye kan wo se wonum dwumadie ensem no e contribute 10 billion Ghana cedis ema aban no e woto efamu afibia e de enti no mo be so me ekwan ne de ama wo mo dwene kro mo ntia se aban no ene panifo aka bi ewu aka se mpunu epunu anhwe sa akwan no nsem anka ma wo na portos no ene emfuturo no bekoso na aha adwene e kwan ne so a ene no mo so wo mo anya adwuma ne anya adwuma chena eno ho nsem eni
me a tokoleta driver so nam kwai de bia me nam kwan de me nam so almost 25 years ni e kwan de etia na etie ye hu nsisa ye bia de bia dade na ye to de ye cars ni sa obefa akodu be bia okobia na oka na anya problem wom ukojina kwan won so na police for betete nti enya ye mfonso a
kwan ni de nokure nyame anim ni e hayen because ufi vehicle runabout ebesin ko aha just 2 kilometers road no ubetumi de 30 minutes wo kwan no so udu enim hodi a ende bobo enye kura hampo de ye kakra enti ye bre ye drivers ne ye bre wo kwan no so ubeto shocks ubeto we be endu 2 weeks no asan ko shop
kwan de enye from hase edi do kokpon de masa is too bad go tama undu ona obo dwenti no we nyina lusu
tipia FMC quantity ufa drop your charge first one person first na ko muje 26 kwani nya muje 50 Ghana se kwani ye ya ufa drop your ono so be charge wo aba form ti self for kada wa am say na o run about oju 50 Ghana
amon for cars say cars na ho no mentimi nto ho duma mo board den enti esra ban wo hwe nyame anim no hwe no mo ye kwan ma na ni tire yanza do mo seje be ye no
ban wa ya mo mu emme bebre atwem honorable amakwata ye ko strike e wo krom ha mobile e be pa ye chow ka kire ye say wa mai be 1 week pe contractor ne fi kumasi eba be ye kwan ya mai be sin de o ma fi power ko
titirani a wada tanker drivers union no ano e ye Shafi Muhammad wode atudwa se abosumi mienu wo mo e de ato wo no mama aban no se won hya se so be ye adwuma e wo kwan no so na kwan na fa ne ntampa afira enya saade a ene aban ne bete ne kakanka
e kwan ha ya adwen kasa na nam odo a ye mo ma Ghana nti no ana ye da so ti saa de mo be huni mfuturo yi ana se de oman ni nyina ehunu no ahokyera ye wom no e wo kwan we hu no ana mo be huni se tanka ba ko pe emuni hwe ekwan yi mu a hwe depots a atwa ha hia no nyina ye ja se eja bi to ha se sia ya wo de electricity anam ha enya asem ketwa na nipa ye womuo na Ghana mpanyimfo bi mu enwene ye ho se yen na ye boa oman na ma na ayeden akoso no in fact ya na ya 2 months no kra enu obefre yen na oni ya kasa fa kwan yin ho nti yesre ye ma 2 months no se omommo modin an omomeboa yen se de be ya ye betimi ayeden afa yen tuma pa afira ye ne Ghana nyina okwan na ma ye am yetimi de aye adwuma ade akoba bi a wose ye ko bia ane BBC a na nye ye ne aye because ache enye nne o say ye paki ye nnwuma gu ho say ye paki ye nnwuma gu a me ne wo ka say Burkina fo nyina wa ha wo na ya se hoho beba okurum na wabenya isane enti ye srem panyimfo
Ejima ma yenye aboafo krato etoso mienu emra.
Ya mama kwaba ye to akase no so. Ghana Nurses and Midwives Association sabre womo ako ejuma womo edi womo juma bra womo call strike no na sabre die womo ahye womo enwuma se ni nyina ye se aban ene womo akasa amanti ase aye ejuma no mo hwe enim nso se aban ne beye womo niema womo de to womo enim we na UTV news ene womo koje ayarehwe ni bi etwetwe nkomo no mo de to womo nim se womo ni asopa eda eye nurses ne midwives fo ya se pa se womo asan ba yejuma na emom womo de to aban enim se wo sere abra sa abre womo akase womo ntimi nsi gina ye be ya afebo se de be ya nurses no womo nsan enko strike bio.
Last week mobile no these things are normal now and see if things normalize more BBA okay all trade unions or more agreements before we sign an agreement no it takes two to tango
so strike no dey was obi apomodin here na strike no basa so obi nim ebia na ochina na be yare na nti basa na ya wona want apple ohia ayarehwe no ebia we na doctor ni nurse ni ho basa ebi obetimi afrim nti de be ka tra ban ni se basa nurse fo na doctor fo hia bibia na sa ban ni betimi aya onye ni ntem na ye nyina so ye hontoye
strike ni de se omo ko na se o masa ba dem se na ni omo bisa no aban be ya ma won to so ma o ejobi o tie chiri na fi lole fe be di ni sken na na de so onu ara won ka akura mpo beto petro di pe ni de ko ni mabua so won July na omo bibia omo permanent omo ye bibia na sanka aban fofori ba so sanka o ma go ahead na omo de yadwuma so
abusiafo ahase ne de kasebo no esi e kai wo se president e afatwu nsi anopa ne anwumre na osia ye fefefe na osre a oye obefe osene sa omu a ya na ye yuzo yum osre a onhye dansre mo ehu ne se na buto ohu na nye enti ya omo brepa president say wo de aba ma wo ye wo chalco ye wo triple action ye wo herbal Mr. Oni nyina de odi betwu se no ebo wo se no ho ban kama enkwada ne de no so ho ya pebi ma wo mo ni nyina ye president eno ena ye bo ho dawru akanfo de ama wo ebusuafo me mata de ehye media ye clothing palace oh enyoma ne de odi aba bebre kwa eti Mr. Obomode a na ekọ eho ewo Accra oni lava ene di enhwe nimu wo de oduru ho ahwe esoro ho wo nse wo mukro wo uduru ho pe hu ya wo mo ho se wo beti se wo mo efre wo se bra na ofrosro oba friuti kopemo na ase bibia wo pe bia wo benya ewo ho wo yi ina ho no kona mu ho kra de no benya bia hye wo nya body sabo kama eya ni omo nkasa ewo 0271